Throughout our 20-year history, Safe Harbor expanded services as a direct response to unmet needs in our community. We have fulfilled these needs with excellent services and programs, and our community has responded with their support. As the year 2000 approached, the world was preparing for Y2K, Bill Clinton was president, and flip phones were all the rage. Terms such as Me Too and consent were unheard of, and our awareness about issues of sex, power, and social justice were more limited than they are today.
A nurse in the emergency department at Bon Secours was frustrated at the difficulty she was having finding shelter spaces for victims of domestic violence. The nurse approached Bon Secours about creating a domestic violence shelter in Henrico County. Bon Secours was absolutely happy and thrilled to participate and to help.
It was then that Bon Secours' Richmond Health System was joined by representatives of the Commonwealth Catholic Charities, Henrico County, the Salvation Army, VCU Sexual Assault Program, and the YWCA of Richmond to address this need. In 2000, Safe Harbor opened its doors as an emergency shelter for domestic violence survivors in imminent danger. Over its 20-year history, Safe Harbor has expanded services to better meet the needs of the community. The organization's controlled growth allowed it to more fully realize its mission, to provide the support that survivors of sexual and domestic violence and human trafficking need to overcome their crisis and to transform their lives. Understanding that survivors needed emotional and mental support in addition to shelter, Safe Harbor added an adult counseling program in 2002, which today serves both women and men survivors in English and Spanish. In 2005, Safe Harbor created the first counseling program in the area to serve the youngest of survivors, children who have witnessed domestic or sexual violence involving a parent or guardian, as well as teens who are the victim of sexual assault, abuse, or dating violence.
As a survivor of childhood abuse, I can tell you firsthand how important it is for children to get help. It truly takes a community to help a child overcome trauma, whether that be counselors, teachers, coaches, friends, siblings. It is so important that there is a safe space for children to not only express themselves, but to truly identify what that trauma was that they experienced in order to help them process that and move forward.
Safe Harbor counselors work with children to give them coping strategies and to help them increase their long-term resiliency. This early intervention helps rebuild the lives of children who have experienced trauma and break the generational cycle of violence. Partnerships with other community organizations are key to Safe Harbor serving survivors effectively and efficiently. In 2017, Safe Harbor forged a key partnership with the Sacred Heart Center, a hub for the Latinx community in the Richmond metro area that provides tools for families to thrive and flourish.
We have a very important collaboration with Sacred Heart Center and Safe Harbor that has been going on for several years now. And Safe Harbor offers at the center individual counseling, bilingual, bicultural, as well as support group sessions for survivors of domestic violence. We know, and the data shows, that Latinx women in particular are up to 2 times more vulnerable to being victims of domestic violence. And then when you look at a lot of different services, sometimes they may not be available bilingually or in Spanish, culturally relevant, so that makes this partnership even more critical.
Through Safe Harbor's partnership with Bon Secours, we estimate that 9,000 clients have accessed medical services over the 20-year history of the organization. Our partnership with Sacred Heart has enabled us to provide Spanish language counseling services to over 3,000 clients. The horror of human trafficking is often in the headlines, generating awareness about this important human rights issue. But few know that Richmond is a hub for traffickers, due in part to its easy access from Interstates 95 and 64. According to Justice Department data, Richmond ranks as one of the top 20 jurisdictions for trafficking cases.
At Safe Harbor, I began a journey of healing. My trafficker stole many years of my life and took advantage of a young girl's desire to be loved and cared for. Through counseling, case management, and the opportunity to return to school, I'm on a path of finding love and care from the most important person, me.
In 2012, Henrico County formed a team. We had 2 goals in mind, and the first one was to bring justice to victims through prosecuting their traffickers, and the second one was to provide support and services to victims of human trafficking. We quickly realized there was one big problem, and that was the lack of resources that existed for victims of human trafficking. So in 2014, we went to Safe Harbor, and Safe Harbor was a proven successful program here in Henrico County. They had been working for years with our domestic violence and sexual assault victims, and we knew, watching the success of this program, from the small shelter that started here 20 years ago to the excellent program it was, and asked them if they could start another program for human trafficking victims and help provide those services that we had to reach out of state for. And we were able to partner together to make it vital to the success of our human trafficking cases here in Henrico and in Central Virginia.
A grant from the Victims of Crime Act funded what would become the first comprehensive human trafficking program in Central Virginia in 2016. The program includes shelter, therapeutic and addiction counseling, and case management services. With the addition of an annual conference to share best practices, Safe Harbor is both acting locally and advancing the national conversation on human trafficking and recovery work. The work has made Safe Harbor a leader on the issue in the state of Virginia and beyond. Where does Safe Harbor stand in its 20th year? A gift from the estate of Laura M. Robbins in 2012 allowed the organization to establish an endowment fund to provide Safe Harbor with financial sustainability as we continue to improve operations and expand services to better fulfill our mission.
Having a hardworking creative team at Safe Harbor allowed us to pivot when the COVID crisis hit and we had to move all of our services remote. We were able to quickly adapt. We found a HIPAA-compliant virtual system to use for counseling. We made accommodations to provide safe shelter for those in imminent danger. We were able to continue to provide all of our services in a safe way for both our clients and for our staff. And as we transition to our post-pandemic life, the demand for services is even greater as survivors are feeling more comfortable reaching forward to get help. We're very grateful to our many donors who have supported us along the way and have really helped transform the lives of those who have been affected by domestic violence, sexual violence, and human trafficking. And we are very indebted to our volunteers who donate over 10,000 hours of volunteer service each year. Thank you all for everything you do to support us. We're so very grateful.
Because of you, Safe Harbor serves 1,500 survivors and reaches over 9,000 people annually through education. Safe Harbor is ready to meet this surge in demand and the challenges to come. For over 20 years, Safe Harbor has prided itself in its ability to quickly respond to community needs. Whatever the future may bring, we will continue to adapt to provide the services and programs survivors need to heal and rebuild their lives. As we celebrate 20 years, we say thank you and ask for your help to ensure services remain available and accessible for survivors now and into the future. Together, we can be the light and hope for those in the dark and terrifying situations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you to all of you for your support of our organization. We're greatly indebted.